The next one, any good vendor recommendations for setting up a syndication network? Is syndication something you'd still recommend? Yeah, it can still be effective. The only reason why I don't do it anymore is because syndication, using the method that we had used in the past, which is IFTTT, requires a pro account now, a paid account, in order for you to have the ability to syndicate to multiple properties. I think you can have like 3 applets or whatever in IFTTT now that before you need a paid account or something like that. So I kind of got away from doing a syndication for a long time. That was all that I needed to do for like 3 years. No shit, in my agency. Like that's all I did was build syndication networks. And then we would spam the hell out of them and then just do blogging from the client sites or lead gen assets, whatever, that would syndicate out to the syndication networks. And all the power would come from the posts that would syndicate out to the network that had the branded network that just had like tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of spam backlinks built to them. I don't recommend that anymore. But for a long time that worked. For like 3 years in my agency, that was all I did. And I crushed it. Like hands down, we ranked every time for all local projects. Sometimes it took longer than others, but it worked every single time. For 3 years, that is all I did. That is not a joke. All I did was syndication networks and then spam the shit out of them. And then we just blogged, did content on the client sites. And that's all it took. It's no longer the case. It still can be valuable, but it's just the restraint or the restrictions from IFTTT. I don't want to have dozens or hundreds of paid IFTTT accounts. Hopefully that's clear. What I'm saying about this is it can still be effective. And what we teach at Syndication Academy, although there is still a syndication component to it, that's not really the most important part of Syndication Academy anymore. What the most important part of Syndication Academy is building branded profiles, optimizing them, and then interlinking them properly, and doing that consistently over time. That's what I call expanding the entity footprint. And it really, really works. If done well and over time. I've talked about this before, but one of the ways that you can shortcut this, first of all, Syndication Academy is not something I recommend any of you guys to go through yourselves, other than to perhaps get an understanding of it. But if you were to join Syndication Academy, or if you're in the mastermind, it's part of it, whatever. The point is plug a VA into it. That is VA type work. Plug a VA into it, give them access, let them go through the training and let them implement and build those properties, and have them just do, a handful of properties per week. You could pay somebody part-time a few hours per week and just have them go through and pluck out 4, 5, 6 profiles per week that they go out and optimize and interlink. And over time, that produces a massive effect. It really does. It's a slow and steady thing. It's not, what do they say? The tortoise wins the race. So this is the tortoise, not the hare, if you know what I mean. And it works really, really well, but it's not about the syndication so much as it is about interlinking and optimizing really well developed profiles, which again is about informing the knowledge graph or expanding the entity footprint. Very, very powerful method. That all said, if you want to do syndication network still, I have not used this guy, but I've heard nothing but good things about him for years from many different vendors or many different members of our group and things like that. And his name is Gemini Guy on Legit. Again, I have not used him, full transparency, but from what I understand, he's a really, really good at this. And by the way, the son of a bitch, and I say it's all like kind of tongue in cheek, but I developed that fucking graphic when we launched IFTTT SEO Academy many years ago, before we got a cease and desist order from their attorneys and said we couldn't use IFTTT in our product name. So we had to change it to Syndication Academy. And that was the graphic that I created. And once we launched IFTTT SEO Academy, all these Fiverr gig providers and now Legit and everything else just totally ganked my, my graphic and used it for all their gigs and everything else. And I guess, you can call that flattering or whatever. But I remember for a while I was pissed because I was like, God damn it, those are my graphics, but whatever. I don't care. I want to build these damn things anymore anyways. God bless this guy for doing it and using our graphics. And so good for him. But from what I understand, he's a really good provider of these. I've not used him, but I've heard a lot of people talk good things about him. So there you go. Okay.